You died. Not literally, obviously, or you wouldn't be watching this, but your brain? Completely flatlined. You're lying on your couch at 2 a.m., doom scrolling past videos of a guy cleaning a rug, absolutely suffocating in pure, unadulterated boredom. And you're probably thinking, older generations had it so easy. They didn't have phones, they were wise, patient, and probably spent their nights staring into the sunset, achieving spiritual enlightenment.
Yeah, be for real. That is a complete lie. Our ancestors did not have inner peace. For thousands of years, humans suffered from a terrifying, soul-crushing emptiness they literally didn't have a word for. It was a plague with no name. And because they couldn't complain about it, it leaked out sideways, shaping empires, breaking minds, and occasionally causing a body count. Welcome to the strangest history lesson of your week. Let's look at how humanity slowly lost the plot. Let's start with the ancient Romans. These guys had a literal phrase for the restless urge to rearrange your bedroom at 1 a.m. Horror loci. Literally, fear of staying in one place. It wasn't a fear of spiders or heights. It was the raw, existential dread of being left alone with your own luxury marble living room. Back in 60 BC, the philosopher Lucretius wrote a poem mocking this ultra-rich Roman guy who would frantically bolt out of the city to his country villa, which was basically the ancient equivalent of a Hamptons mansion, as if his house was on fire. He'd sprint there, arrive, take one step inside, yawn, and realized he hated those country walls too. It is the exact historical equivalent of closing TikTok on your phone, only to immediately open TikTok 3 seconds later on complete autopilot, because your brain is rotting. But if you were a poor Roman, you couldn't afford to escape your existential dread in a country mansion. So the government stepped in with a strategy called bread and circuses. They literally handed out free carbs and said, "Hey team, instead of starting a massive riot because you have nothing to do, why don't you watch a guy get eaten by a bear on a Tuesday afternoon? It's great for family bonding." They literally invented mass entertainment because they knew a terrifying truth. Bored citizens topple empires. It was either free gladiator fights or a complete collapse of society. Now fast forward to the 4th century. Deep in the Egyptian desert, holy Christian monks were waging war against what they called the Noonday demon. It sounds like a terrifying biblical boss battle, but in reality, it was just the ultimate mind-numbing afternoon slump. These holy men sat alone in tiny stone rooms from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. every single day. And they completely lost their minds. They wrote actual treatises complaining that the sun had frozen in the sky, that their rooms felt like prisons, and that they hated their lives. Basically, the Noonday demon was just the 1 p.m. slump combined with a severe snack craving. These guys gave up families, wealth, and all earthly pleasures to commune with the divine. But wanting a light midday snack, absolutely undefeated. But back then, feeling checked out and unmotivated wasn't treated as a mental health day. It was classified as a literal sin called Acedia. Imagine having to go to a priest and confess, "Forgive me, Father, for I got extremely bored staring at a gray rock," and getting actual religious penance for it. Talk about a negative aura. All right, quick intermission. If you've made it into this part of the video about history without opening another tab to look up a custom keyboard, congratulations, you've officially survived longer than a Roman senator in a bear pit. But be for real, if you're still here, you are clearly enjoying this. Or you're just using my voice as background noise to avoid washing the dishes in your sink. Either way, lock in and hit that subscribe button right now. It is 100% free, which is a major win. And it tells the algorithm that you are a Sigma in history. Go on, do it. I'll wait. All right, let's get back to it. Let's speedrun 5,000 years of humanity absolutely losing it because their brains ran out of content. 2500 BC, Egypt. The Nile floods, leaving the entire farming workforce stranded with months of absolutely nothing to do. The pharaohs panic, knowing idle minds lead to riots, so they adopt the ultimate toxic corporate manager energy. They look at their employees having a light week and say, "Hey team, since we have a quiet quarter, I've signed us all up for a quick, mandatory team building exercise. dragging 2-ton limestone blocks across a boiling desert. It builds synergy. Yes, the pyramids, one of the 7 wonders of the world, were built out of pure administrative anxiety to keep farmers from crashing out. 1790, Philadelphia. The well-meaning Quakers in Pennsylvania tried to design a peaceful prison system and accidentally invent solitary confinement. They genuinely believed that if a prisoner sat in a silent, gray stone box 24 hours a day, they'd naturally find God. Spoilers, they did not find God. They just found out what happens when your brain is forced to start manufacturing its own content. Turns out, absolute boredom doesn't open a doorway to heaven. It just drives you clinically insane. 1893, London. High society Brits get so sick of sitting in parlors that they start the literal anti-boredom society. Their cure? Complicated conversational homework. If you accidentally said, "nice weather we're having," without referencing Shakespeare in a minor key, you were banned from the mansion. They literally tried to cure social awkwardness by adding more homework. But then came the biggest vibe shift in human history, the Industrial Revolution. Before this, most people worked for themselves, farming, trading, setting their own pace. But suddenly, millions of workers are shoved into giant factories, forced to do one single mind-numbing task over and over, for a boss on a rigid schedule. And that is the exact moment the word boredom is born. The noun boredom made its very first printed appearance on August 8, 1829, in a weekly newspaper called the Albion, before Charles Dickens famously popularized it in his 1853 novel Bleak House. Before that, the fancy French word was ennui, but only rich people got to be ennuied. Everyone else was just tired. Boredom was the democratic version. Anyone could catch it. It became such a massive crisis that Henry Ford had to double his factory wages to a historic $5 a day, explicitly calling it a reward for boredom. Think about that. Usually a boss pays you for your skills, your experience, or your hard work. But Henry Ford looked at his employees and basically said, "I know this assembly line is going to completely dissolve your soul. So here is a massive financial bribe to stop your brain from running away screaming." So what about the great serious thinkers? Surely the ancient Greeks and legendary kings were above this. Nope. They were just as checked out and lazy as we are. We picture the ancient Greeks in pristine white robes holding deep, majestic philosophical debates. But during massive national festivals in Athens, half the crowd was snoring. The famous orator Isocrates literally had to write a formal historical complaint about his own audience. He basically said, "I am up here pouring my soul into this speech, and the sheer volume of you snoring is deeply insulting." They had the exact same energy as a room full of college students trying to survive a Friday 8 a.m. lecture. And look at the ancient Persian kings. They ruled entire empires. But they couldn't survive a long chariot ride without a pocket knife to carve little wooden sticks. Literally, it was history's first fidget spinner. You've conquered half the known world, but you still can't survive a 3-hour commute without losing your absolute mind. Even the romantic poets couldn't lock in. Samuel Taylor Coleridge spent his life writing frantic apology diaries about missing his writing deadlines because his brain was just too loud. Coleridge literally invented the modern group chat apology. "Sorry I've been quiet, guys. My brain's just been a lot lately." He is living proof that you can be a literary genius and still have the exact attention span of someone who opens a new tab to look up a word, gets distracted by a Wikipedia page about ancient cheeses, and realizes 3 hours later they never finished their original sentence. But if you want to know how dangerous boredom really is, look at Greek mythology. Zeus wanted to assassinate Argus, a giant with 100 eyes who never slept because 50 eyes were always awake. So Zeus sends Hermes to do the job. But Hermes doesn't bring a sword or a lightning bolt or some god-tier weapon. He brings a story. Hermes sits down next to the giant and starts spinning a tale so incredibly long, dry, and relentlessly pointless that one by one, all 100 eyes glaze over and shut. And once Argus is fully out cold, Hermes decapitates him. Yes, Greek mythology gave us history's first documented case of weaponized small talk. It's the mythological equivalent of sitting next to a guy on a 6-hour flight who insists on explaining his custom Excel spreadsheets to you. Your soul just leaves your body out of sheer self-preservation. If you think that's wild, in the 2nd century AD, the citizens of a Roman town called Beneventum literally built a permanent marble statue thanking a local politician named Tenonius Marcellinus. And the inscription literally thanks him for his good deeds by which he rescued the population from endless boredom. His crowning glory in life, his absolute peak achievement carved into solid marble, was basically, thanks for not being mid.
At the end of the day, maybe we shouldn't take our restlessness so seriously. One ancient philosopher actually argued that the gods only created humanity in the first place because they got bored. Which means our entire existence isn't some deep cosmic mystery. We're basically just a trash TV reality show designed to keep the universe from yawning. So, the next time you find yourself doom scrolling on your phone at 2 a.m., don't feel guilty. You aren't wasting time. You are participating in a sacred 5,000-year-old human tradition. And look at the bright side. At least your boss isn't using administrative anxiety to make you drag a 2-ton limestone block across a boiling desert.
If you think our modern screens have ruined us, be for real. We've actually started bringing boring back on purpose. Right now there is a real-life boring conference in London that completely sells out every single year. People pay actual hard-earned money just to sit in a silent auditorium and listen to 1-hour lectures on double yellow road lines and the mechanics of supermarket self-checkouts. So maybe boring is the new interesting. Before you click away to find another rug cleaning video, drop a comment below. What is your personal late-night version of horror, low-key? What is that one mundane thing that makes your brain absolutely crash out? Let's chat in the comments. Try to survive until next time. See ya. If you think our modern screens have ruined us, be for real. We've actually started bringing boring back on purpose. Right now there is a real-life boring conference in London that completely sells out every single year. People pay actual hard-earned money just to sit in a silent auditorium and listen to 1-hour lectures on double yellow road lines and the mechanics of supermarket self-checkouts. So maybe boring is the new interesting. Before you click away to find another rug cleaning video, drop a comment below. What is your personal late-night version of horror, low-key? What is that one mundane thing that makes your brain absolutely crash out? Let's chat in the comments. Try to survive until next time. See ya.